Hi guys, I'm Sean and you're watching Shopworx. On this episode here, I'm gonna start working on the rear bumper while John's working on the doors there. So, I've been looking at it long and hard and found some 6x6 down below there. I got an idea what I want to do with it. And I actually had some 4x6 up here I was looking at and was going to monkey with, but just didn't quite look right, and I think I can do a better job with this stuff. So, I'm going to take this out, we're going to clean it off, make some brackets. Making some brackets over here. I'll be using the existing two holes. I have to figure out how I want to cut everything into it and mock it all up here. So we'll get this cleaned up, we'll get the tabs welded on it and mount it and go from there. I got the brackets cut out, or you got the other one test fit there, and this one here will go on here, that notch to fit the spring hanger there. And this is temporary until I get the bumper started mocking up here. Just the way the frame rail is on here, I'm not sure if you guys could tell or not, but the top's kind of dished in more on it. So instead of welding them square and having problems sucking it together or pulling it apart or whatever I'm going to end up having to do at that point, I figure guys, probably better off just to build it to fit here. So. Worked enough on these things to know these frames are a little wonky right out of the factory. That's why Ford has all them bolts and all the different adjustments everywhere. It's kind of a one-off, so we'll tighten that up. And I can set some blocks on here, we'll raise it up, probably tack the two tops when I get her, and then we'll tweak her for level the rest of the way, whatever I got to do with it. Rotate it so the seam's on the bottom. go up higher. I'll hold it. You can go pick it up. Is it gonna be flush or what? Huh? You lift it right off? Yep. Over 19. Over 19. Perfect. Okay, you're just gonna level one side out, tack it, pull the blocks out, and do the other one. Only way to do it. Your way. Huh? Your way a little. Up. Tip up. Huh? Tip mine up. I got it. Close. Up. 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 Down. Down a little more. Lift it. Down. Raise up. Up a little more. How's that look? Looks like a bumper. Oh, that should hold it. Yep. You'll have to clamp on this side too. So, what I've been thinking about doing here is usually use something a little thicker than 1/4 inch, but kinda didn't know whether I really wanted to try to find some 1/2 inch plate around. I got 1/4. I got some gussets here I'm just going to be welding in here after, and just to strengthen it. Can't really see too much of an issue here anywhere. It's not like I'm going to be off-roading and yarding on this. I got a nice receiver hitch here, so we'll put a gusset top and bottom, and that should be good for that. I can start laying out the rest of how I want to do this. Well, I've been looking at here anyway, right, wrong, or indifferent. There'll be 45 in it on the corners. I'm going to be cutting in some lights right there. I'm going to have turn signals, strobes, and backup lights all in one there, hence the 4 wires. And putting my car plug wire in there, goes up to the front. When I back into most stalls. I can plug right in with a short cord. Be in Canada. License plate's going to be going right here. Got that marked out. License plate light, and of course the other strobe and 45. Not really the piece, but thinking about extending something out on the edge here. Just past it a little bit, putting the 45 on it to protect the corners. Kind of hit and miss on that idea. Not sure what I'm going to do there quite yet. Anyway, it's about where I'm going to be quitting today, so I'll have to think on it and get back at her after. Oh, you can use a hacksaw blade if you don't have a saw or a jigsaw or a sawzall or whatever. I just find you get little square corners that way instead of having cuts you got to fill back in everywhere. Yeah, see if it fits. Managed to make it a little too tight here. That's top and bottom. That's why I didn't want to plasma this. Once you plasma it, if you can't get in there with a grinder and you want to take it out with a carbide bit or file or something like that, or even want to try to drill through, never pierce for a pilot hole. with plasma, you'll just end up breaking bits left, right, and center on it. Just hardens it. So it's okay to plasma that, but I'm cutting these out. I'll just come back a little after and try to grind it up or belt file it real quick and be out of there. We're not out by too much. Well, a little die grinding later. What I always do here as I go is I've been pre-drilling all my holes. Chalk, wears off real easy, wipes off, wears off. Now as long as I know roughly where my stuff is, I can go back and drill them out. Same with these, if you drill them and top them ahead of time. Time you put paint and box liner on it or whatever you're doing, at least paint, you still have to go back and clean your threads out. What I usually do, like I say, 1/8 inch these as well. Once it's painted, then I'll drill them out, tap them right at the end. Now you'll see that through paint, or depending if it gets wiped off, or whatever the case is. Get a magnet, clean up all these filings, and going on to something else here. So, technically this should fit. So something like that. So I know what some of you are wondering there is took my spare tire carrier off and everything. And what am I going to do now? Well, I went and ordered some stuff. I don't know if I did the right thing or not here, but went to EMS Off-Road and ordered their little spindle kit for doing mounting the spare tire there. So some of the stuff here didn't come with it, but it came with the spindle, the bearings, the seal, the dust cap in here. I got the polyurethane blocks here. So use that to set my bottom piece on. I'm going to pin it back in somehow to hold it. And here's the piece where your I guess rotor or drum or whatever it normally be, but it's for the two races on there. Pump it full of grease and well, pack it first I guess and pump it full of grease, and away you go for your swing out. However, it's not quite big enough. I've got it taped up here right now so I don't get any welding spatter on anything on it. So my problem is I'm a little short. So I'm going to have to extend that down. I went and did a little machine work on this and another piece there back at the house. So you can see I put a little bit of a bevel on it and drilled a hole for a 7/16 rod, which I'm using a grade 8 bolt just to line things up and center it. So my other two pieces are over here. I'll throw a clamp on it, and then we should be pretty darn close to being on tolerance here. And then I can weld it up and take her back, machine her down, and should be long enough to go through. And we'll drill a hole top bottom of that bumper and sleeve it in. The center so we're not squeezing it off center. The kicker shouldn't be a problem. That's square to the table. Should give us a proper height here. Pinned with the rod. Try this again. Don't see any daylight on either end, so we're looking pretty good. I want to do this. Okay. I'll leave that clamped up, take it outside to cool down, and should be able to turn it tonight. So on that spare tire carrier, I'm going to be using the this plate here. I got a piece I found out back. By the time I'm done with everything here, it's not going to matter. Got a little rust divots or whatever. I'm building her out of pretty much junk I got floating around here. Just happen to have a circle 7.5 inches round. Hoping for 8, but it's what I had. I figured the center out, then I squared off my other two lines from it, and went around here once I figured out my measurement to get my circle. Once I had my circle, I center punched the 4 lines, and went across and divided my distances, marked my center lines, and then figured out my other 4 holes. I'm not sure if I'm just going to do 4 bolts and have my center support in the middle, or if I'm going to do all 8. Look at doing 8, and then it's just more lug nuts somebody's got to take off to steal the tire. So kind of looking at doing that. I got to drill them out. I got a bunch of grade 8 bolts, 9/16 by 18 thread pitch. Same as my wheel studs, so I'm going to have a spare set of lock nut, or spare set of wheel nuts for it right here. They're going to be splined too, so somebody's got to either have a tool for it or some other way of extracting them. Piecing things together a little here and a little there. I think once I get that spindle length in there tonight, I'm going to weld the bar on coming off here so I can set the height on it, put the bearings in, won't grease them or anything, and see how it's going to work that way. Well guys, I got my spindle extended, so now it should go through. Turn down on the lathe. Just have to drill the 2 holes where I want to put it, and might brace the inside. Don't think it's really necessary, but you never know. Don't hurt to throw in. And on the other side of things, I mag drilled out them holes. And we got this all buffed up here, right bolt pattern. Probably going to put it on the rim and tighten some lug nuts down. And we'll just tack them on the back side here and pull it off and weld them. This way they're perfectly lined up the way they should be. So I guess in theory you should do a little something. Used to line up here. A little something like that. Again, put the lug nuts on and away we go here. They're set for the spare tire. Alright, I got the plate bolted on here. Lug nuts are on, center each stud. So I'm going to just go around and center down here. Cover up the mag best I can. I'll put on one of the studs and go around and tack them all, then I'll pull it apart. Got them all packed up. Studs off. After cool. And I can put all the heat I want into them up on the bench. Not bad, I didn't heat it up that bad at all. Yeah, got it locked on here. Just a little. And just like that, 1.25 hole in 1/4 inch steel. Most of your stuff's in a pile and you get your nice little washer out of the end. Now for the hard part, try to flip it upside down, get the bottom. Well, there's a strap for this thing in there. I really don't want to set it all up just for one hole here, so just keep my feet underneath it in case I do lose power for whatever reason. It's not going to smash on the ground. It'll kind of come down on me. just like that. Now, if everything measured out right, we have a nice tight hole for the spindle. Never get that using conventional drill bits. Hole in the glove. Take that one out to cool down. Well guys, this is sort of where I'm at with it now. It's cooled down. Just using these two blocks here just for leveling it out and setting height right now. I have to figure out how I want to put a lock in here so it doesn't spin out and hit a vehicle beside it or anything like that. I want to go just over 90 and drop in, and then maybe 180 and drop in again so it doesn't hit the truck. Looking at having a pin. Not sure how I'm going to have a segmented spot yet to keep it from opening and closing, but do something like that. Let's see, height wise, not sure. And then the cap in the end here, putting pin in down over there, and then I'm wrapping a bar around, having another pin down under here, lock it all in. So that should keep the spindle from working back and forth, and pinning it in should also keep it from walking up and down working on it, and then having two good welds again should keep it from breaking off. I hear, read stories online there where these spindle mounts never worked, broke off, cracked, whatever, the case may be. But when you look at what they're doing with some of those, this ain't no Baja rig, so we'll keep on keeping on here. I'll bring this up, put my tire mount off here, and probably triangulate it back in here with something just to give it a little extra strength for that to walk back and forth. So, I guess what I'm going to do now is put this welded on here for the pin. Got my races tapped in. I'm going to be putting, not using a seal on here right now. I'll be able to take this on and off a few times. What we do is just putting these together dry and set my height. Pretty solid. We'll take that over and put it on the back of the truck there and see how it fits. right down the ear. And got the bottom welded, top welded, and the inside there. Just do the seam on the bottom here, and then I'll pull it all apart after it cools and get the top going there. It's even close. Oh, while I'm waiting for that to cool, center of my tire is going to be here. I want to allow enough room there I can put on a 37-inch tire still, even though we only have 35s on here right now. Just doing that for gearing sake. If I decide to change something down the road, I'm not pooched. So I'll start figuring out where I need to be for the center of my tire there. Now, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I've been behind a lot of vehicles and stuff, and you see that spare tire hanging off, bouncing around. You see it on some of the newer stuff. You see it on a lot of the older stuff. Always been a fan of just putting a gusset in, whether you really need it or not. You know, it might make the difference between having a tire when you need it and not having one. Same thing, the way I designed this originally, I was going to come up, just so I can show you guys here on my table. I was originally going to come up a little ways and come out on a 45 up to the plate up top here. I decided against that. I wanted to go up and out. I'm still putting a brace in here. The reason I'm doing that is I want to brace from near the top back down to the spindle. Well, it's slowly taking place here, one piece at a time. Get this squared up here on the bench, hanging off. Everything's good. I'll get this tacked up here, and end up bracing still up this way somehow. I'll get this put in first just to see how I'm doing it. You see, it's kind of hard when you're doing one piece at a time here. Race is nice and spatter free. figure the rest out. Probably the most important part, keep the sparks out of the race. Needed a piece, 1.5 inches, didn't have anything else other than this one floating around here. This was on a piece of equipment crate, shipping crate. Repurposing it. Well, I'm just about ready for a test fit. Got the top of the spindle welded on. Use some little tin foil there. Cover it up, make sure I don't get any problems on the seal surface here or anything else. First time trying that. Kind of worked. There's a little bit of burn on the edge, but nothing major. Did its job. I can verify one thing. This thing is getting heavier. It is doing its thing here anyway. We can clamp this down and we'll test it out with the tires. Make sure my measurements all work before I keep going with it. Now for the fun part. See if I can get her up. Oh, it's mounted, not finished, but it's on there. I don't like the way it springs. So we were talking, John and I originally when we were building this design here, I'm going to probably be pinning it in underneath. You can see why I have it open there. I'm going to be pinning it in with a pin back here on the back side somewhere to hold it. And I'm probably going to have another pin over here to keep it from wanting to work back and forth. Well guys, thanks for watching. Gonna have to get at this here once I figure out exactly how I want to make it stabler, or at least come up with an idea. So if you want to see it finished off there, we'll come up with an idea and get at her after. So thanks for watching. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, you want to see her out, and we'll get back at her once I get some parts and pieces and some ideas. So take care.